Mizmor LeDavid, Adonai roi lo echsar, Binot deshe yarbitzeni, Amei menuchot yenahanleni. Nafshi yeshovev, yancheini v'maglei tzedek leman shemo, gam ki elech begetz hamavet, lo yirara ki ata imadi. Shivtecha umishanetecha hema yenachamuni, Taroch lefanai shulchan neged tzorerai, Dishanta v'shemen roshi kosi revaya. Ach tov v'chesed yirdefuni kol yamei chayai, V'shavti beveit Adonai leorech yamim. A Psalm of David. The Lord is my shepherd, I lack nothing. He makes me lie down in green pastures, leads me to water in places of repose. He renews my life, guides me in right paths, as befits his name. Though I walk through a valley of deepest darkness, I fear no harm, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff comfort me. You spread a table for me in full view of my enemies, anoint my head with oil. My drink is abundant. Only goodness and steadfast love shall pursue me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord for many long years. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today, and to everyone for tuning in. My name is Cantor Leslie Emery, and I am the Chazan here at Congregation Shaarey Zedek. It's my honor to be here with you all, officiating the funeral of Marc Cohen, who is known to the Jewish people as Meir Aaron ben Lebel v'Penina. Marc was born on the 10th of September, 1970, and soon after joined Dolly and Lawrence as a son who grew in their hearts and a dream come true. 13 months later, Michelle was born and their family was complete. Marc passed away on the 16th of October, the 24th of Tishrei, with his mom Dolly and sister Michelle by his side. He will be remembered fondly by Dolly and Lawrence, Michelle Levitch and Ben, his nephew Seth, as well as by extended family and friends. Recently, Marc was so happy to have spent such meaningful time with his girlfriend Suzanne and to have her in his life. She was truly a bright spot in a difficult time. Marc's family is so grateful for the love and support of Marc's cousin Jody Hyman over the course of his illness. Marc was very blessed to have visits from all of his cousins this past year, who made the journey to Winnipeg from out of town. Michael and Ruth Allen Cohen from Toronto, Jackie Wasacase from Regina, Lisa Card from Vancouver. Marc was also blessed with visits from Philippa Kaplan and Sheila Schwartzman. The family is also grateful that Marc was able to join them in celebrating Dolly and Lawrence's and Michelle and Ben's anniversary here in this sanctuary this past year to make some more meaningful memories together. Marc lived his life his way, marching to the beat of his own drum, challenging and loving his family in a way only he could. And though, as I understand, Marc didn't really like people making a big fuss over him, at this time I would like to invite Marc's sister Michelle to give the eulogy, as his life is one worth remembering and honoring as best we can.
For those that don't know me, I'm Michelle, and I was lucky enough to be Marc's sister. On behalf of my parents, I thank you for joining us today in the mourning of my beloved brother, Marc Cohen, and for helping us honor and celebrate the smart, kind, honest, hardworking, and loving man my brother was. We lost him way too early, but we are eternally grateful for the gift of him for as long as we had. Until this past Thursday, I have never known this world without my big brother in it. Although we had separate lives as adults, we were forever deeply connected, and despite distance, there was a mutual comfort knowing that we were both just a phone call away. Marc and I had a shared history, a sweet connection from growing up together, adventures, laughter, fights, and laughter again. He was my playmate, my occasional nemesis, and my protector. I have many fond memories of Marc from our childhood. As children, I used to wake Marc up at the crack of dawn every Saturday morning to go downstairs and watch cartoons. I needed my big brother as I was too afraid to go on my own. We took pleasure in driving our mother crazy, listening to the Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown record on repeat, and reciting every word of it over and over again to our mom, until in desperation for her sanity, she would force us to choose a different record. As children, we were lucky to spend carefree, magical summers at Falcon Lake, building sandcastles, swimming, playing cards, and board games. We were close as kids, being only 13 months apart. In the last few years, we developed a close relationship, talking regularly on the phone and almost daily over the last 9 months. Growing up, Marc loved the outdoors, camping, street hockey, baseball, and football. He listened to hair bands of the 80s, hard rock and heavy metal music. Some of Marc's favorite memories from childhood were riding his bike down the old highway between Falcon and West Hawk Lake, building a Quincy in our backyard, and sleeping outside during the freezing winter, going across the street for lunch at our Baba's while attending Grand Park High School, driving Baba's Chevy Nova with her, and water skiing at West Hawk Lake with Uncle Alan and our cousins. My beloved brother loved his profession. He was passionate about trucking and was good at it, wearing several hats. He was a dispatcher, a long-haul and local trucker, and an instructor in the industry. Marc received numerous awards and recognitions during his career, including the Elite Award for Excellence in Performance in 2014 and 15. His commitment to the trucking industry led him to be chosen for the Industry Excellence Award in 2015 from the Manitoba Trucking Association. Marc's passion for his calling, the professionalism and dedication he brought to it, was nothing less than admirable. And although I know our parents may have chosen a less physically demanding work life for him, their pride in the manner in which he conducted himself was as great as any parents could be. May I quote from the book, Trucking in Manitoba, A History. Drivers, the window of the trucking industry, are the real engines in which power the freight hauling business. They are the front line. No matter what kind of day they've had, they are expected to be the epitome of diplomacy. They are the consummate professional, and as such, they are expected to anticipate the inane actions of others, no matter what conditions prevail. They are white knights in a land of forbidding territories, and they deserve our respect. I like to think of Marc as one of those noble white knights, supporting the infrastructure that engineered all of our lives. In the task of organizing her own estate, our mom wrote letters to immediate family members to be shared after her passing. As Marc never had the opportunity to read his letter, she has provided permission for me to share it today. My darling Marc, I may not have given the gift of life, but life gave me the gift of you. I won't lie that I worried about you excessively. You chose a path that I or your dad wouldn't have wanted. But don't blame us for wanting the best for you. What you did choose, you made a success of. Although a difficult career, it seemed to make you happy and satisfied, and that is what is important. You were always fiercely independent. You made your own decisions. You chose your own destiny. We learned to respect your path and learn to love you for who you are and grateful for you. When life tried to knock you down, you fought back. Your positive attitude and determination during your terrible cancer diagnosis left us with admiration and awe of your resilience. That is where your power lies. It was fully on display to family and friends. You were astonishingly strong and upbeat during a very difficult time. Even though you were showered with love and support from family, your own courage was inspiring. Dad and I will always have your back. I can't promise to be here for the rest of your life, but I can promise you to love you for the rest of mine. Love, Mom. Marc had a terrific, sarcastic, biting sense of humor. He was warm, affectionate, and loved to tease, especially our mom. Marc was good at analyzing and problem solving. He had the ability to put things in perspective. My parents and I were full of admiration for Marc's strength and his perseverance to get through his illness. He was a fighter and full of determination. Staying positive and not slipping into depression while battling the beast of cancer was enormously important to him. He knew his time was limited, and he wanted to spend whatever time he had left with those that meant the most to him. Marc had a grateful heart for all who connected with him during the last 9+ months. He was thrilled to be able to celebrate our parents' 60th anniversary this past June. He loved seeing all of his former coworkers again at a summer barbecue. He greatly appreciated every visit, every text, every call from family and friends, both old and new. When all is done, it is our relationships that mean the most, and Marc understood that in a deeper way than ever. The fact that I realized there will be no new memories, no new conversations, no new funny quips, and that mischievous smile is very painful. On behalf of the family, we'll be forever thankful to Cousin Jody Hyman for her support, love, advice, and kindness to us, and especially Marc. Jody, Marc told me countless times how grateful he was to have developed a close friendship with you. He treasured his time with you so much. Rue, you are extraordinary. You have been there countless times over the past year for all of us, and we can never thank you enough. Suzanne, you had a special relationship with Marc. You showered him with love, kindness, care, and of course your amazing cooking and baking. He loved you so much. Mitch, Brett, and Riley, Marc was so proud of all of you. He talked fondly about each of you and cherished his time with you as your stepfather. I once asked Marc who his favorite athlete was, and he responded that he had two, Michael Vick and Mitchell Harrison. Mom and Dad, you were Marc's rock over the past year. Your world revolved around him. You supported him in every way possible. Dad, you were Mark's superhero. And I'm not just referring to the time you told him that you were the real Superman, but not to tell anyone. Of course, he ran down the street to tell his best friend. Mark's big passions in life were trucking and riding his Harley Davidson. When asked to describe a perfect day, he described two very different scenarios that were totally him in every way. The first was described as follows: minus 40 degrees, driving a semi-truck on the winter ice roads, an unmarked, non-existent highway over a frozen lake. The driving conditions were brutal, and only Mark could describe it as fun like crazy. In the second scenario, Mark painted a vivid picture of a beautiful 75-degree day with blue skies for miles, meeting friends and going for a long motorcycle ride. As they hit an intersection, he would flip a coin. If heads, he would go right, and if tails, he would go left. Driving for hours, getting lost, and challenging himself to find his way back home. Mark, I hope right now you are sitting on a Harley, flipping a coin, and enjoying the ride.
Michelle, that was absolutely beautiful. You honored Mark so beautifully. I feel like we could all really feel his presence in this space. Often as Jewish people, we say, may somebody's memory be a blessing. May Mark's memory be a blessing. When we say this, we don't just mean the memories. We have a determination to still feel Mark's best presence in this world. Sometimes we do this through acts of charity, through continuing the good works of someone who's passed away. But Mark certainly left a lot of inspiration. I'm going to invite you to rise at this time as we continue with the memorial prayer, the El Malei Rachamim. El Malei Rachamim, Shochen Bamromim, Ametzeh Menucha Nechona, Tachat Kanfei HaShekhinah, B'malot Kedoshim Utehorim, Kezohar Harakia Mazirim, Et Nishmat Meir Aaron Ben Lebo V'Penina Shalach Le'olamo Began Eden Tehei Menuchato Anabal Rachamim Hastirehu B'Seta Kenafecha Lolamim Utzeror B'Tzror HaChaim Et Nishmata Adonai Hu Nachalato Ve'yanuach B'Shalom Al Mishkavo Ve'nomar Amen. Exalted, compassionate God, grant infinite rest in your sheltering presence among the holy and pure to the soul of Marc Cohen, who has gone to his eternal home. Merciful One, we ask that our loved one find perfect peace in your eternal embrace. May his soul be bound up in the bond of life. May he rest in peace. And let us say, Amen. At this time, we continue with the Mourner's Kaddish. Yitkadal v'yitkadash Shemei Rabbah, Be'alma divrach hirutei ve'amlich malchutei, B'chayeichon u'vyomeichon v'chayei dekol Beit Yisrael, Ba'agala uvizman kariv imru Amen. Yehi Shmei Rabbah mevarach le'alam l'almei almaya, Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, V'yitadar v'yitale v'yitalal Shemei dekudisha brichu, Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, Tush bechata v'nechemata, Da'amiran be'alma v'imru Amen. Yehi Shlomo Rabba min Shemaya, V'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, Hu ya'aseh shalom, Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. You can be seated. On behalf of the family, I would like to thank the staff at Brightwater, St. Boniface Hospital, the Health Science Center, and Cancer Care Manitoba. Donations can be made to Cancer Care Manitoba in lieu of flowers. Shiva will be observed for 2 days, Monday and Tuesday from 2 to 4 and 7 to 9 at the Cohen household. And though there won't be new memories being made, this is a beautiful time to collect all the stories and all of the memories and share them with the family, to comfort one another through this difficult time. I would like to invite pallbearers and the family to make their way at this time, and those present to remain standing as they exit. You can rise. Shortly, we will be proceeding to the Zedek Cemetery at 235 Armstrong Avenue, where it meets Main Street. If you will be proceeding along with us, please turn on your four-way lights and observe traffic laws as usual. Immediately after burial, you're invited to join us back here at Zedek for a meal of consolation. We're going to wait a few moments until Estelle lets us know everybody's ready. And I invite you to form 2 lines outside as you make your way out, as we guide Marc to the hearse. Thank you again for joining us today. I know it means so much to Marc's family. All right, everyone. I think we're ready. Thank you again for joining us.